Herb doesn't have a great matchup against the Suns, but against the Lakers he does. It kind of feels like they're just leaving him open in the corner because he's not really a great three-point shooter. The Lakers are allowing 14.3 threes per game, which is like 28th in the league. They're 24th in the league in defensive three-point percentage, which, like, if you're leaving Herb wide open, that's just a bad idea, I think. So this is a situation where I think, like, maybe one of my favorite props is Herb Jones over points. 10 points. I really like it.
I'm looking at the three-pointers right now. What do you think about just over 1.5 3 minus 125?
Yeah, he had 4 threes yesterday.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to go Herb Jones over 1.5 3, 2+ at BetMGM minus 125.
He had 4, 3, and 3, and those are the games, like obviously the last 3 games that he played, and then had one bad game on December 7th, and then last year on 3/14/23 he had 2 threes. So that's hit in 8 of 10 against the Lakers. So I really like Herb Jones threes as well. That's a nice number, minus 111 to the over.
Over 2.5 is plus 260.
Yeah, I think this game in particular, there are a lot of opportunities to take alternate numbers and parlay them into a same-game parlay with very little legs for huge value. For example, I want to say LeBron to have 12 assists is plus 260, which, like I said, he had 13 assists in the first half, and I don't know how that changes. I don't know how defensively they're going to be able to deal with LeBron in a different way. Nothing's really going to be different than it was a day ago.
Yeah.
And then LeBron against the Pelicans in the in-season tournament as well, I want to say he had double-digit assists also. I want to just make sure that I get that correct. Yeah, the last time they played on 2-9, he had 14 assists.
See, I really like that alt number. And 8.5, where it's set, is minus 145. Too.
Exactly.
So yeah,
and
I
it
would
was
go
minus
with the double
135
digits.
earlier today. So that line is moving. I think the LeBron assist look is going to continue to get steam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I really, really like that. That's only hit twice of 10 times, but I think that's the crucial moments that we're looking at with LeBron James and the Lakers where he's going to be able to do a little bit of everything.
I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to be chalky, and I'm going to try to make some money. I'm going to go Bron over 8.5 assists right now, minus 145, and I'm also going to play Herb Jones just over 1.5 3, minus 125, but damn, over 2.5 plus 260. Kind of tempting.
Why don't you ladder them? Like, do a safe one for, a full unit and a more aggressive one for a half a unit.
That's what I'm going to do. I was looking at maybe some D-Russ stuff. Over 3.5 threes for him, though, is only plus 110.
Yeah,
so
I know, because he had 5 threes last game.
I'm staying away. Anything else you like? So you like the Lakers in the game. Peach likes the Pelicans in the first quarter. Why the first quarter angle again?
He has no idea.
I just think that, I just know that the public is going to be all over the Lakers. So I think the Pelicans are going to get off to a good start. I think the Lakers can win, and they're going to come back, but I just know when everybody's on the same side, then that team usually gets off to a slow
Let's
start.
look at the first quarter.
I think I'm going to ride a little
like the
Pelicans are
first
favored in the first quarter.
Of course
at
they
home.
Right.
Yeah.
Just that, have you heard anybody that likes the Pelicans in this game?
Crowd's going to be
Not
electric.
a
The
single
Tillier will be
person.
there.
Yeah. Well,
I just think the one blind spot you have, Peach, is the NBA. Against Philadelphia, by the way, in his last 4 games, and I know that nothing matters until it's the playoffs, but 20, 24, 16, and 23, so that's his points. His rebounds, let's look at that really fast.
Yeah.
4, 3, 3, and 11. Wow, what big time disparity there. But I think the Heat plus 4.5 is my favorite bet. And also, one prop that I absolutely love, not to jump around too much, it's Joel Embiid under 46.5 PRA. Against the Heat, 36, 29, and 41 in his last 3 matchups going back to 2023. That's just not a scenario when you've got a dinged-up Joel Embiid that you can rely on, even though it is in the playoffs or like a playoff environment.
Yeah.
I still think Joel Embiid doesn't reach that mark.
What do you think about Terry Rozier under 13.5 points? It's juice minus 135. I mean, but the total in this game is 207.5. How many guys are going to go off?
I think it's one of those scenarios where you're right. It's not going to be that many guys, but you can't tell who it's going to be. The Heat are one of those teams you have no idea who's going to show up on a night-to-night basis. They're super annoying that way. It could be Caleb Martin.
Terry Rozier, he's a big game player, too. Remember the series with Boston?
Yes.
Against Milwaukee
But he's also
years
fighting
ago?
a neck injury, like Law was saying, and he's questionable in that game.
That's why I asked about him, yeah.
But he could also go off for 20. So I have absolutely zero interest in betting anything Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
Probably zero interest in betting anything Duncan Robinson since he's dinged as well. It's only Joel Embiid and Jimmy Butler. I don't know what I'm going to do with Jimmy Butler, but I really, really like the Heat plus 4.5. Here's why. Like, this is just a scary-ass team in the postseason. Like, I just don't think people understand it. I don't think people understand that this is like a different sport. You talk about it, too.
Do you think they win, or do you think they keep it within 2 possessions?
I think they win.
Damn, you were all in on Philly a couple of weeks ago.
No,
last
but
week.
I think it's just a bad matchup.
Okay.
Honestly. And I don't think it's... If Joel Embiid wasn't limping off the game last game that he played...
I was surprised that he came back in.
And he gutted it out and he didn't look right.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Is that the Heat are finally healthy-ish. Like, Jimmy Butler is in a revenge spot. And Joel Embiid's not healthy. That's it. If Joel Embiid was 100%, I would be hammering the Sixers right now. But it would probably be 7.5.
Would you do anything with Maxi's points, 23.5, or Hero?
I think Maxey might get strapped up.
See, I kind of like the under minus 115, 23.5, to be honest with you. Embiid's points, 30.5.
Yeah, I mean,
you like the under on the
PRA? 43.5 PRA. That's so high. No, 46.5 PRA. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, that is, it's again,
super
the
high.
total in the game is 207.5. So even though it's Embiid, I can't play an under. I would go under maybe on the points, rebounds, and assists. I don't really want to go under 30.5. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot in this game, to be honest with
There's
you.
not a lot that I love player prop wise, and that kind of just tells you everything that you need to know in terms of like how this game is going to go.
And then the other one that I added today pretty big was Brock Bowers over 11.5 minus 155. The thing that scares me is everybody mocking him to the Jets. Rodgers has never really had a number one wide receiver. Jermichael Finley a couple years, Jared Cook for 1 year. And like the Jets just have too many needs. Last year they surprised everybody. I bet them really big. Remember to take a tackle or an offensive lineman, and they went defense, even though they have the best defense in the league.
They'll go defense
I
again.
I think they have to go tackle. I think you have to stock up on that position. And so what I think happens is Brock Bowers drops as good as he is, and he could line up all over the field. He could block. I think he's the best tight end we've seen since Kyle Pitts probably in the draft. But I don't think he's going to go top 10. I don't think he's going to go top 11. That's tough, man. That's really tough. Laporta's freaking awesome. But that's also a really good system for him in the Ben Johnson system in Detroit. But yeah, that's actually tough because Laporta had a monster rookie year. Yeah, I think Brock Bowers is better, though. I mean, Brock Bowers legitimately could have won the Heisman this year. Like, they give him the ball on end arounds. He could run well. He could block well. He lined up like 35 or 40% of his snaps in the slot, too. So you could line him up all over the field. It's kind of the same thing that we said about Kincaid.
Right.
And that's why Kincaid ended up going over Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer is just more your traditional big-ass tight end, where Kincaid can move a little bit more.
Yes.
And that's why, for whatever reason, I think Buffalo's going to go into the season with him as their number one weapon. I think the perfect landing spot for Bowers is Cincinnati. They need a tight end.
Yes.
It looks like Cincinnati is going to have T. Higgins this year because he's making so much money. He'll probably play for the franchise tag and then test free agency or hit free agency next year when he's going to be 26 years old. That kind of makes me want to bet Joe Burrow MVP futures.
Yes.
MVP futures. And if they get Bowers, man, that offense is going to be ridiculous because they'll lose Boyd, but they would have then Bowers, they would have T, and then they would have Jamar on the other side.